Good evening. You are listening to Superhuman Channel Talk Radio. I'm your host, Todd Smith, aka Mass Avenger. I'm here with my co-host, David, and what we're going to share about what's going on in the Marvel Universe. We're going to make it, very quick as possible, because we got at least 10 minutes to do this show. But we're going to give our opinion what's going on with Marvel. We very excited to go to the movies. We maybe go, after, a week after to see Star Wars. What it is, Star Wars, Force Awake, and see the new Civil War trailer. But we gonna touch on some little bases about the movies that's going on in the movie industry when it come down to Marvel, and also we gonna touch a little subject about the comics. So my co-host, he gonna say what he thinking about, about the Iceman, thing that's going on. And people, we advise you, we not here, against gay folks and stuff like that, but we just grew up in an old-fashioned way when we come down, reading comics. So don't get offended what we share, because we not, degrading, people of their sexuality in their life, but we just talking about the old things that that I grew up with, reading back from the 70s to the 80s and then partial 90s. But we just gonna share some, some sensitive stuff. So my co-host finna, speak what he got, what he got to say what's going on in the comic book world. Go ahead, Dave.
In the comic book world, well, I'm sort of done with Marvel Comics now. Because it's like today, it's about like race and sexuality. It's not like about good guys fighting the super villains no more. It's like very, like, I don't know how to explain it, PC in my opinion. It's like Iceman, yes, they reconned him to be fully gay. And why I didn't like about it, I'm not like a homophobe or anything, but I didn't like about it because all these years, he was like a womanizer player. Like, he always get the chicks and stuff. He did like almost literally all the X-Men females and a whole bunch. That was his character. He was like the Human Torch on the X-Men. Mm-hmm. And that's why I really liked him. And like the way how they made him gay was very contradicting, because Jean Grey out him out in his mind. Young Jean Grey from the past out him out in his mind. But this never happened in like the 70s and 60s or 80s comic books. It never happened in the old comic books. It was very contradicting, and just ruins the idea of the relationships we had. It ruins the idea of Iceman having all these relationships, of how much she was like a player, like a womanizer. So it kind of ruined that for me. And, Marvel, they've been slacking out with their stories. So I'm pretty much done with that.
Mm-hmm. That's a good topic. What I want to share is it seems like the comic book world is really changing down the years. Like a couple of months ago, that I can say, that Stan Lee put up an article, talking about the Amazing Spider-Man. And what, really caught my mind, when Stan Lee didn't agree about them coming up, with a gay Spider-Man and stuff like that, which it made sense, because there's so many, Spider-Man out there in the Marvel universe that they could have turned around and did it, another way, or put him in a what they call it, an alternate universe. What you say that? What you call it? A cinema. What universe you call when they have superheroes and different, comics and stuff like that.
Alternate universes.
Yeah, the alternate universes. That's what they should have did, but at the same time they didn't do it like that. And they Stan Lee wasn't a bigger fan of it. About what Iceman, with his sexual life, I think that if they choose they want to do that, they should have turned around and did it in that fashion, but not turn around and then focus on, the Spider-Man that, we grew up, that we grew up in the ages with. So I wonder how well this is gonna turn out with Marvel, universe, because Disney had these rights, but all of a sudden we see all down the years that they kept on changing things around, in the time frame. So we just gonna be open about it, My thing is this: they should just put him in a alternate universe. Then put that then taking Bobby Drake and then change him to something else. And that's why I think that what they should have thought about it. Yeah, but I just don't want people. People that need to get their hearts out of the way when and their feelings out the way when we come talking about stuff like this, because this is stuff we know changes happens, but at the same time they that because they grow up in the new age like they is today, that me enjoying comic books and grow up in an age like that. Back then they had beautiful art, then they had beautiful storytelling, and it seemed like it's more focused on sexuality and more focused on racism than versus Marvel back then. That when X-Men was first released, when Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, that when the time that comic books need to be in its place, at its best back then. So that's what I think about. I think they should, that should think more, open about it, when it comes down to this. It's not like, back then, when, I was coming up, enjoying comics. So, but we just moving on in the subject. So people, we just don't want y'all heart to be in the way, what we think about this. This is just our thoughts and our opinion, what we think about it. Not gay bashing or nothing else. We just talking about how age of comic had really changed this time. In this time frame. But we want to talk about, Guardian of the Galaxy and the basics that we've been touching basics on, about Matthew McConaughey, being Adam Warlock, in the next movie, of Guardian of the Galaxy, then that this was a good ordeal or it was a terrible deal that Disney, really came up with. And so far, it seems like Matthew McConaughey is not going to be far that we know, and we don't know, how the money work with these, with the Marvel universe. But I hope something good come out of it. What do you think about it?
About Matthew McConaughey, I so far I heard he wasn't really into, so Marvel was trying to get him back. But what I thought is, I don't really know what's going to happen. We're just going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, I'm just very interested about it. But before we close out, man, I just want to share with you all that me and my co-host, before the movie even start, we going to probably see the movie the week after, before its day is released, because we know it's going to be crowded. And what we going to do is we just going to give our little interview or review before the preview of the new Star Wars. And not only that, but we also will be sharing about the new Civil War trailer after it's appeared. We don't know yet we're gonna see it in 2D or in 3D, but I'm looking forward to seeing it in 3D. What you think?
3D.
Yeah, so we just gonna be at the show early because we had enough time to able to sit in the theaters and then, being prepared for it. So I got the card already, so we be ready to go and then check out this movie. And we were able to give our comments and our thoughts about it, because I know there's going to be so much coming out, out of this movie after we go and see it. So any last words before I shut out, David?
Hopefully the Star Wars becomes good. We can't wait to see that, and that's just it.
Yeah, me too, man. I just hope that it be worth seeing. Like I said, all racism and all sexual or whatever things aside, we just want to go and then dissect the movie and then give our understanding and our closure, about the movie. But there you have it. My name is Todd Smith, aka Mass Avenger, and you just listened to my co-host, David Smith, and we'll continue, to share our news feed for what we get out of it, out of the comic book world and out of the every wonderful thing that we looking forward up to in 2015, as disclosure, and then we able to share more news with you all. But thank you all for listening in, and then tune in and then leave your comments. Thank you. Peace.